Laken Riley's stepfather read one of her last journal entries before the court. Number 8.
I'm so proud of Laken and the beautiful person she was. And while I could stand here and try to tell the world the things that made her such a wonderful person, as well as the many things we have all been robbed and deprived of, I think one of her last journal entries dated 12/17/23 says it best. So here we go. To my future husband. As silly as I feel writing this, my old small group leader once recommended it, so here I am. To my future husband, I want you to know that I'm thinking about you. I'm working every day to become the best wife I can be. By working through my current relationships to best prepare me for ours and our kids one day. I'm focusing on God and what He defines as a faithful Christian life, and so that I can best embody those characteristics. I pray that you know that it is with my full faith and trust in God that I know this relationship has been handcrafted by Him. I pray that we continue to glorify the Lord, prioritize Him in every aspect of our lives, and raise our family, our future family, to be God-fearing Christians as well. I pray God is the center of our relationship as it is a gift from Him. I thank Him for you before I even know you, and can't wait to love you in the best way I know how for the rest of our lives.
That was John Phillips, Laken Riley's stepfather. Now, according to a Media Research Center, ABC, NBC, CBS, where still roughly 30 million people every night get their news. In 5 days, they spent nearly 4 times less coverage about Laken Riley versus the coverage over the joke that was told about Puerto Rico by that pro-Trump comedian at the rally. Remember, he referred to Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage. From November 15 through November 19, Tuesday, the networks dedicated 20 minutes and 33 seconds to the Riley trial across their top morning and evening newscasts and Sunday morning talk shows. 20 minutes and 39 seconds. By contrast, they donated 78 minutes going BMW about the joke from that comedian Tony Hinchcliffe during the Madison Square rally. Let's call it Garbagegate. CBS led the way with 31 minutes, 25 seconds. Big lengthy segment on both CBS Morning and the CBS Evening News. ABC spent nearly 24 minutes. NBC, 23 minutes. As for Riley's murder at the hands of a reported Trinidad Aragua member, ABC's newscast talking about Good Morning America and World News Tonight, 8 minutes, 19 seconds. CBS Morning, CBS Evening News, 6 minutes, 34 seconds. NBC Today, NBC Nightly News, 5 minutes, 40 seconds. And in only 3 of the 5 days received any coverage. Nothing from the Sunday morning talk shows on ABC This Week, CBS Face the Nation, NBC's Meet the Press. Their 3 Sunday talk shows, nothing. But the joke about Puerto Rico, I'll tell you what, that advances the narrative that Donald Trump is racist, and of course they wanted Kamala Harris to win. Now there is a columnist for the Washington Post, one of these soft Republicans. Her name is Jen Rubin. And remember, Jeff Bezos, who owns the Washington Post, says he's going to try to make the newspaper more fair and more balanced. Well, maybe she hadn't gotten the memo. Number 24.
You can't talk broad themes. You have to boil it down to nuts and bolts, and you have to be pithy. What do I mean by pithy? How about this? Republicans want to kill your kids. It's actually true. If you're going to oppose vaccinations, if you're going to stop breakthrough medical research, if you're going to allow minors and all sorts of people to get semi-automatic weapons, which they use to shoot up schools, well, then you are responsible for kids' health and death, unfortunately. It has to be that simple and that direct, and it has to be over and over and over again.
Wow. Republicans want to kill your kids. And because Republicans don't want further gun control, and because she says semi-automatic weapons are used in school shootings, they want to kill your kids. Couple things. Seems a little inconsistent with what Jeff Bezos says he wants with the Washington Post. Beyond that, Republicans want to kill your kids. Riddle me this. Why then are Republicans pro-life? A third of abortions are performed on black women. If Republicans are racist, wouldn't they want more abortion? And therefore the elimination of more black babies? And this just drives me crazy. She talks about the Republican opposition to further gun control legislation, as if further gun control legislation would do any good. We talked about the so-called assault weapons ban that expired some time ago. Didn't make any difference. But people like this never, ever, ever talk about how many Americans use guns every year for defensive purposes, and how many people would be dead but for their access to a firearm. Even the CDC did a study on the existing research and said at minimum, there's one life spared for every life taken by a firearm. Maximum, as many as 2.5 million Americans use a firearm every year to avoid death or serious bodily injury. People like that never talk about that. Pourquoi?